Hello guys, welcome back. Pete Dahlgren here, building Mears Models F86, and as you can see, we are done with panel line layout on the top of the airplane. Now, it was not too difficult, providing that I had the correct drawings to get a lot of these in. And a lot of you guys notice it looks kind of like a calico cat, and I'm not even the slightest bit worried about that, because what I am doing now, and then I wanted to talk to you guys about chart pack tape. You'll notice this has a gloss on it. You really want that. Now, I'm not worried about little spots like that at all. I have all my lines done. They are correct. And they look great. I mean, as far as panel lines go, looks pretty good. A little bit of dings and dents, not worried about them. It'll sand out. It took some dealing with this and quite a bit of tape. You'll notice I got lots of different color. Solid color is generally the easiest there is to work at, but I've gotten several different kinds over time and I just used it. This is 164 chart pack. It is there, but I think I want to just show you guys a little bit about getting even everywhere you go. And I just put that on there because I'm goofing around today a little bit, and I wanted to double check before I finished the body work on this canopy and put lines in it as well. Now I opted to go with the doors because there are some hinging points down there, and there are a few other things that are just not in the detail set that I wanted, like the gun bays and gun doors and ammunition doors and things like that that are in there. Now I am not done with panel lines, I'm just done with the top. But there is a couple different ways you can do panel lines, and you can spray it and flip the jet over, or you can just whatever. But I strongly suggest you do all of them and have them ready, and make sure you got a good stand to work on that where you can roll it. Ultimately, when I paint the jet, I will put a tube all the way through it, and I will put it on two of these stands or brace it up between the table and the stands, and I will rotate it to paint it. But I will be doing the bottom first regardless of what I do anyway, so it may be on here, but I will paint it when the airplane is completely together. Now, I know a lot of guys say, why didn't, I've had a lot of guys asking, how come you have not built your wings? Well, I've been waiting on a ton of things for it. And the fuselage is not done in a lot of ways too, but I'm just working around things until certain things get done, because I got some big surprises for you guys in store for this airplane. And as you guys know, mine is very highly modified compared to the original. I did correct the tail. It does look, excuse me, yeah, been getting over a cold. Anyway, there are a lot of details that just are not there, but there are a lot that will be there. And the reason I do things the way I do them is because I'm always thinking. Now, this will be a testimony of just how thin the primer actually is on there. There's a little bit that was on there. This is sanded 400 grit. I will clean the airplane. I will turn it over and draw all my panel lines out. There isn't a lot in these areas, but as you can see, with 1/64, I got mine to look like there is actually a panel line there when it is not. There's a couple little things that are there, but jets look good when they're all buggered up. So, you know, nothing's ever perfect on an airplane. Once I primer this though, I will put a little bit extra primer in these areas right in here, and I will sand them out and get the final sanding. And it'll look pretty good, I think. So the jet is beautiful. I love it. I am going to be putting a lot of things in. Believe it or not, guys, you want some screwed up spots on these airplanes. Don't get them perfect. A perfect airplane looks weird, okay? It's okay to leave a couple little dings and dents in it. Do it. Like right there, leave some dings and dents. Thing might hit a bird, you never know. Somebody got pissed off and threw a wrench at it. Leave a ding or dent in it. Don't make it perfect. leave a couple dents in the leading edges. These are perfect, but they shouldn't be. Well, that's on purpose, guys. Leave little boogers in it. You'll see exactly what I mean when I start weathering. I'm going to make it rusty. I'm going to look like it's been left out in the field a few years, and this jet is going to be cool looking once it gets done. However, I'm not doing a silver jet. I am camouflaging this plane. Its primary color will be almost the same color as what it is now. I'm going to show you guys what my secret to success on getting the main finish is on this thing when I do the panel lines, and it's this stuff. This is rapid filler. This is primer, and it will sand off very, very, very glass smooth. Almost when you do the 600 on it, this thing will be wavy and beer can looking like you won't believe. And that's what I'm going to do when I do the sanding. I'm going to sand it up and down in a few areas and then around it and all that before I remove the panel lines. And this is something that you guys got to get used to doing if you're going to make things look really good. I want this airplane wavy. I want it to have a little bit of crinkles in it, a little bit of beer canning, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. It is not a perfectly straight airplane. It looks like it is, but I assure you it is not. I want things beat up on it. So the main thing is I'm building it to look like it's been through a war. And with the paint job it's gonna look like it. It's like this little dent right here. It's intentional, guys. I'm not getting too crazy. I will be oxidizing the paint with different paints and stuff like that. I will be making this thing crazy looking. And if you want to know the top way to do, if you want to see exactly how the best way I have found to actually weather an airplane, it's very simple. And I would invite you to look at Peter Goldsmith and look at what he did. The jet he did his on just won Top Gun. So, and that is the very jet that he did a live video on Facebook with, and it's actually on YouTube as well. I don't have a link to it. I wish I did, but it's something that I want you to look at and get familiar with him. That guy is on top of his A game. We're coming at him fast and furious with this one, and I know he knows about it. And I'm coming out for Top Gun with a vengeance, even though I don't care if I place or not. But I do want to make sure that they understand, and not even to end with what's been said with a lot of the airplanes, especially the Mears models. These airplanes, along with anything, can be built beautifully if you know what your scratch building limitations are. And guys, none of you have any limitations. I've seen a lot of your airplanes. A lot of you guys are very talented builders, far better than I am. So I don't lend myself, if you're watching this show and you are watching what I'm doing, you are either crazy or you are an accomplished builder and you're just taking some guidelines to learn more about what it is. Now, I've had a few questions asked on a few things, and people have been asking me if I get paid by Mears to do this. No, I do not. I absolutely do not. I do this as a service to you guys and you guys alone. And I think the biggest thing is that I love the attention, but I don't, I guess, what am I trying to say? I guess I don't really worry too much about what is and isn't. I mean, the thing is with this, guys, is that this jet is built because I love this. I want an airplane like this, and I think a lot of you guys will agree that there's just so many different things that just, between stresses of the regular everyday life, you know, if you're like me and got grandkids that just, oh my God, they'll tear you up. But the thing is getting in, we will start doing a tremendous amount of rivet details in this. And I do want to talk about this, guys, because I'm going to show you something that I've seen wrong on a lot of the higher end kits, and that the riveting detail is completely freaking wrong on them. And the one thing is, there's no such thing. The rivet details I've seen on these things have been just straight up and down and a few crossed. That is not how these are built. No jet is built like that. They will come in and like this, and they will be in a large deal. And I'm going to draw one out real quick and show you what I mean. And I'm going to show you why these stations and everything, and understanding where they're at and learning, is the one thing that's going to separate a lot of the things that I'm doing. And this is where the successions that I have enjoyed with a lot of you guys and all that as a scale builder have always come out. And this is the secret to it. And it's learning to read the actual factory drawings. When you come in here, of course, there's always rivets on every seam. That's a dead giveaway. But there is never a straight whole bunch of lines. These stations are going to be, at least, you're going to have to look and find out how far the stations are. And they always go in a direction like this. I'm going to grab a pencil and show you exactly what I mean. And I'm going to do this because I'm primering anyway. But the one thing is, when you come up and you look, this is where the separation on the scale location is. But this here is another deal, and we're just going to camouflage it in. And I'm not going to get too crazy about it. I probably will when I sand this off for the final time to paint it, then we'll figure it out. But I think one of the biggest things is that when you look at the stations, you're always going to have a line of rivets that come up here, but they always alternate. No rivet goes straight like this. They're always one here, one here, one here, and then they go out. But what they do on the stations, you may have a station that goes down here. You might have a station go down here where they're wide. They're always going to have two lines, but they're also going to go diagonal in the corners and have two lines, and they're always going to alternate. And there's nothing in between. And they do that on jets because the fact is they want to be able to remove these panels and put another one in. And if you did a bazillion holes in it, the reason they stagger them is so that if one of the frames is too screwed up and they can't make another one, then they can go where the old one was and stagger them to the next one. And that's exactly why the frames that you look on airplanes are always kind of shaped like this. They're always like this. And then they rivet it and the skin always comes around. But when you look at it at the front view, the all-clad that they use, one might have a hole here, but there's going to be one always over there. But that gives them the opportunity, if they ever have to change the panel, to drill it here and over here without having to replace the actual bulkhead. And at that point in time, the service life is done with the airplane. So you can take a lot of that. I am an AMTE. If you guys don't know what that is, I'm an aviation mechanical technical engineer. That makes me an engineer. Okay, I install tons of this shit. As a matter of fact, if any of you guys want any of this crap, it's all yours. But anyway, those are all the radios I replaced last year for avionics upgrade. Just saying. But anyway, the main thing is that when you get into a lot of these, the drawings that you look at are going to be fine. But I also want to show you guys something else. Now, I used a model that I never built. But anyway, I use this for a reference. Okay? It's got panel lines in there that shouldn't be there. Of course, this is an F model. And what gives it away is that tail. And if you look at a lot of these things, get some dust off it. If you look at the details on here, they're totally different than what's on the A model. And again, guys, I've built this as an A model, and I've got the details nailed. These little panels and hatches and things are to the exact size and what they need to be. And it's going to show. Once that back is painted silver, that is going to be really cool looking and everything else. And I broke down. I said I wasn't going to do lights, and some guy from Australia started crying about it. So I bought some, just so you know. Damo, no worry, it's going to be okay, bud. But anyway, no, I bought the strobes for it and the lights for the bottom. And I'm only teasing, Damo. I wouldn't shit you. You're my favorite turd. But anyway, it's just one of those deals where a lot of guys have been watching. A lot of guys are seeing the plane come alive. Again, I've just got over. But I want to turn your attention a little bit to some of what I got right here. And these are the actual screws I will be using, screw heads and stuff. And I need to order a whole lot more because I don't have enough. So I'm going to get Mears to send me a bunch more of these. Now these are screw heads. You put them on with Scotch tape. I will show you guys how that works. These are rivets, and these are for detail sets, guys. And there's several different sizes. And a lot of them will be going, and these are the size of rivets I will be using. And these will be going in areas, and they're very highly visible, very nice looking when they're done. If you guys have not seen what they look like, feel free to look on my Facebook page under Peter Dahlgren builds the Zeroli Spitfire and look at that fuselage. It's a thing of beauty, or it was. But anyway, it's one of those deals where this jet has taken on its own personality. It looks freaking mean. This thing looks like it's ready to go kill something. And that's what I was after. And these colors are just shadows, guys. They're not going to show. I did put in a couple little shallow spots. These I did on purpose. And the reason I've done that is because I got the fuselage so damn straight that it drove me nuts. I don't want it to look like a sport jet. My intention is to beat the hell out of this thing and get it really, I want it to look like a war dog. I got a lot of time involved in it now. But guys, this is 1 year. Actually, next week will be 1 year. And I want to emphasize something on this. The last 2 weeks, I've put almost 100 hours into this airplane to get this done, to get to this point. And the detailing on the fuselage, it always takes me the most time. The wings I am starting to actually start planking out the wing tanks, and those don't take no time to do. I got my landing gear mains coming so I can finish that up and get everything, so I got everything absolutely perfect. I'm going to tell you guys right now, don't build your wings completely and don't put wing blocks in there until you have the landing gear you're going to use. And guys, all these boxes up here is nothing but this jet, and they keep showing up every day. And I am running air systems, and these are the Mears mounts in there, by the way. And I'm ordering one more tank because I'm an air guy. All right, I have an air kit. I am going to be ordering an MP3 valve because I want my doors to close and open like the real one. I am putting them in, and I will be ordering that probably tomorrow through Zeroli. Now I want to give you guys some points of interest and everything like this too while we're here, because a lot of this stuff is good. Now, Duplicolor, guys have been asking me about it, and yes, I do use it. I have used it. I did all my final pieces on this and did my final little bit because the stuff sands amazingly. It has a very good fill quality, But I want to remind you guys not to use the primer filler mix. If you're going to use any of the Duplicolor, this is the only one you need. And make sure it is this. This stuff's about $6 a can. And I use it so that I can come up here and fine tune certain pieces and parts. And like in here, because it dries quickly and it's done, but don't put a lot of it on there. You can't fill weave with primer, guys. It doesn't freaking work. If you're gonna use anything, use either Dynatron or this stuff. It's level 2 Bondo Professional Glazing and Spot Putty, and this stuff dries and you can sand it and put a very light coat of primer. It's white. It's what I got all over everything. I use it for spot. I mixed it on there. That's what that is. It'll sand off unreal. I mean, it's really cool stuff. But make sure you get the kind with the hardener. It mixes up with the hardener like this, and you don't want to be putting a lot in it. And it just, it is really good for this. It does. And if you're going to try to fill any weave spots or any big dents or dings or anything crazy, that is the stuff to use. And it's very, very thin, and it feathers out amazingly. And I will use it when I touch all this up, and I go in there to Dremel all this mess out here. And I was hoping that I would have got my cockpit kit in today, but I guess I'm dreaming on that. And so, anyway, one of the biggest things is making sure that all the materials you're using are good materials and that you're not cutting any corners at this point. And I've had no problem, again, with Duplicolor, using it to do touch-up repairs. But for the main finish on this, because I am going to be putting on a lot of details, I want to make sure I get no shrink back. And my next step will be to primer this. And it takes a lot of primer to do the final. And then I will go through all the panel lines, sand them off, all individually. Just, it takes a little bit of time to sand down to this and get it exposed. It takes a little bit of time to pull it out. There's a lot of digging. It takes a lot of time. When you're using this thin chart pack, it don't like come up very well. And that's another thing. Like I said, you'll notice this has a gloss on it. You want to make sure you're using a gloss, any kind of gloss. It doesn't matter what color you use. Black is the most prominent. It's easiest to see. But there's a lot of different chart packs that are out there. And chart pack can be a stinker to find sometimes. So just make sure you're not buying flat. If you do, oh man, it takes a long time and it makes a freaking mess out of where you're doing it. And if you're going to use it on the bottom. But anyway, I think one of the biggest things here is that to this point, we got about a year into this build. And when you get to looking at it, it's pretty cool. And again, that spot primer up there, that's the spotting stuff. And I will dust that a little bit. I'll come back and I'll show you a little dirty tricks. We're going to be doing a lot of masking, a lot of back masking. There's going to be some areas you're just not going to like, and you're going to see them on this next step. But on this next step, this whole entire airframe, when you guys see it next time, guys, it's going to blow your mind. I mean, seriously, it will. It'll just, the build will just completely and totally 100% take a whole brand new attitude on. That means that this jet is just hit about the 50% mark. And that means we'll be getting on this stuff and getting that going even more. And the wings, believe it or not, guys, those wings take a lot of freaking time to do. And that's something that cannot be rushed. And that's why you don't want to have you don't want to be going in and gluing things together until you have everything in. And I'm going to do a video on the wings and talk about those wings a little bit, because they can be a little tricky, and there are little tricks of the trade to figure out on them. And I've already thought them out and done them. But one thing is, do not build your wing, but don't put your blocks in or none of that stuff in there until you absolutely know and do have all of your electronics in there, because all this, you got to have all of it to get everything in there. And you cannot really functionally put that wing in and cut them in later. It's just, you could probably do it if you're going to use electrons or doing it, but for what I'm doing here, it's not going to work. So it's just because I'm using air retracts for one, and they're not as the air retracts I'm using are custom made, so they're a little bit smaller, but they're a lot stronger. My struts are monsters. You guys will love them when you see them. And then if you guys get a PM on this whatever, then we'll get it figured out. But as for now, we are going to go ahead and get this thing rolled over, and then I'm going to start getting the center line, and I'll do another video on the bottom of this fuselage. It's absolutely critical to get these panel lines done, that you know exactly where you are, and I'm going to show you how to do that on the next video. Thanks for watching.